Welcome back to Senior Health Stories, your trusted companion for living healthier and happier in your golden years. We're here to share expert tips, practical advice, and inspiring stories to help seniors thrive, no matter their age.
You think eggs are the richest source of protein? Think again. Let me tell you about Mary, 70 years old, living in Ohio. She was always careful with her diet. Every morning, she boiled 2 eggs, made a cup of green tea, sometimes added a slice of whole grain bread. Her friends often praised her for being healthy and fit, but then, one cold winter morning, Mary was climbing the stairs at home. By the 3rd step, her legs started trembling, her body swayed, and she fell to the floor. Luckily, no broken bones, but after that came days of fear, fatigue, and endless questions. Why did this happen to me? During a full checkup, the doctor said something that stunned her. "Mary, you're not getting enough protein to maintain your muscles." She laughed. "But I eat 2 eggs every day." The doctor shook his head. "Eggs are good, but they're not the king of protein." When she heard that eggs only have about 13 grams of protein per 100 grams, Mary felt speechless. What she had trusted for decades turned out to be just one small piece of the puzzle. This doesn't just happen to Mary. Millions of Americans over 60 are facing muscle loss without realizing it. They think their fatigue, weakness, trouble getting up, or feeling winded when walking is just aging. But in truth, a big part is that they're not getting enough protein. Did you know, after age 60, the body absorbs protein less efficiently? It's not just about eating more, it's about choosing the right kinds at the right times. A friend of mine, Roger, 72, once said something that hit home. "I didn't fall because I'm old. I fell because I didn't know I was getting weaker." Muscle doesn't disappear overnight. It fades quietly, day by day, month by month. Have you noticed any of these signs? Stairs feel harder? Carrying grocery bags tires your arms quickly? You wake up stiff and take longer to get moving? That's not just getting old. That's your body calling for help. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm not selling pills. I'm not pushing magical protein powders. I just want to share something important. There are simple, everyday foods that pack double, triple, even 5 times the protein of eggs. These are foods backed by science that have helped thousands over 60 regain strength, walk confidently, play with their grandkids, go out on their own without needing a helping hand. After her fall, Mary made a change. She learned to add new sources of protein to her meals. Nothing fancy, just a cup of plain Greek yogurt in the morning, a quinoa and seed bowl at lunch, a handful of roasted pumpkin seeds for an afternoon snack. Just a few weeks later, she called me, her voice bright. "I just walked 3 laps around the park without stopping. I feel like I'm 10 years younger." I laughed, but inside, I was truly happy for her. I know there are so many people out there like Mary. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone you love. They want to live joyfully, healthily, independently, but they're held back by old beliefs that eating eggs is enough, that aging equals weakness, that protein is only for athletes. I want to tell you today, you deserve a stronger body. And it doesn't start at the gym. It starts with what you put on your plate each day. Remember, this is not a promise to cure illness. This is just an honest conversation, a gentle reminder. Love your body, give it what it needs so it can serve you longer. Because health isn't some faraway dream. It's right there in your kitchen, in a cup of yogurt, a bowl of chickpeas, or a small handful of seeds you can add to your meal. I'm not here to make you fearful. I'm here to remind you, health is freedom, and you deserve that freedom.
You know, people often say, getting old means getting weak. But honestly, weakness doesn't come just from aging. It comes from losing muscle little by little without even noticing. Every year after age 60, if we don't fuel our bodies right, we lose about 1 to 2% of our muscle mass. That might sound small, but after just a few years, you've lost nearly 10% of your strength. Without muscle, even simple things become exhausting. You feel it when standing up from the sofa, when bending down to tie your shoes, or when carrying a pot of soup from the kitchen to the table. Many people have told me they're not afraid of back pain or soreness. What they fear is the day they can't do ordinary things by themselves. A woman in California once told me, "I just want to be able to open my front door by myself, without anyone holding my arm." That touched my heart deeply. Let me tell you about John, 75, from Florida. About 6 months ago, he called me, sounding worried. He said, "I don't understand why even walking out to the garden makes my legs shake. At the grocery store, I have to hold on to the cart just to keep from falling. But I eat well, eggs in the morning, chicken at lunch, milk at night." When I asked more, I realized he'd never heard of foods like spirulina or quinoa. I told him, "John, try adding a spoon of spirulina to your morning smoothie. Swap out your white rice for quinoa at lunch, and stick with that for 2 months." 2 months later, John called back, but his voice was completely different. He told me, "I'm walking around the house without needing to hold on to anything. At the grocery store, I push the cart just to carry things, not to keep my balance." I couldn't help but laugh with joy. That's not magic. That's what happens when the body gets enough good protein, enough essential amino acids to rebuild muscle. Spirulina is rich in protein and easy to absorb, and quinoa is a complete plant-based protein packed with iron and magnesium. You see, everyone wants to be rich, but there's a kind of richness people can't see from the outside: health wealth. When you have your health, you have independence. You can take care of yourself. You don't need your kids to worry when you're out walking in the yard or climbing the stairs. You don't need anyone to carry your grocery bags. You keep your confidence, your joy in life. Success at this stage of life isn't measured by how much money you have. It's measured by how much freedom you keep, how many natural laughs you share each day. One thing I've learned after talking to hundreds of people over 60, everyone fears becoming a burden. They may not say it out loud, but I hear it in their voices, in their questions like, "Will eating this help me feel stronger?" Or, "Is there something I can do to ease my tired legs?" You don't have to wait until your body sends you a warning signal. You can take action now. Make small changes. Choose higher protein foods, pick ones that are easier to absorb, spread them out throughout the day instead of loading them all into one meal. A woman named Linda once told me, "I used to think protein was just for gym people. Now I understand it's what helps me get out of bed in the morning without grabbing onto someone or something." Simple words, but they hit me right in the heart. We don't eat to stay young forever. We don't eat to become superheroes. We eat so we can live our own lives, fully, without relying on others. That's why I'm sharing this with you today, because health doesn't wait for anyone, but it always rewards those who pay attention to it, starting today. And it's never too late for you to begin.
When I asked Mary, the 70-year-old woman I told you about before, what food she thought helped her stay strong, she smiled and said, "I thought it was just eggs." But the truth is, eggs only have about 13 grams of protein per 100 grams. And out there are so many foods that go far beyond that. I want to walk you through them, one by one, in a simple and friendly way so you can picture them and maybe even bring them into your meals. First, there's non-fat Greek yogurt, with around 10.3 grams of protein per 100 grams. What's special about Greek yogurt is that it's strained several times, removing most of the water and lactose, leaving behind a thick, protein-rich cream. It also has probiotics, the good bacteria that help keep your digestion smooth. Many people over 60 feel bloated, but when they switch to Greek yogurt, they notice they feel lighter. My friend Linda once told me, "I have a cup in the morning and my stomach feels calm, my mood feels brighter." Next is chickpeas. With 11.2 grams of protein per 100 grams, it may not sound like a lot, but remember, chickpeas also bring magnesium, which helps relax muscles, reduce cramps, and lower inflammation. I have a friend named Bill, 74, who used to complain about nightly leg cramps. I suggested he add a chickpea salad in the evening. A month later, he called to thank me. Last night I slept through, and in the morning my legs didn't ache anymore. Then we have quinoa at 14 grams of protein per 100 grams. And more importantly, it's a complete protein, meaning it has all 9 essential amino acids the body can't make on its own. Many people ask me, how do you cook quinoa? It's easy. Soak it overnight, cook it like rice, or toss it into soups or salads. A couple from Ohio told me they started swapping white rice for quinoa, and after 2 months, the wife said climbing stairs got easier, no more huffing and puffing. Pumpkin seeds are another unexpected gem. They have 19 grams of protein per 100 grams, plus zinc, magnesium, and iron. Zinc helps heal muscles, magnesium prevents cramps, and iron carries oxygen to muscles. I like to sprinkle a handful over oatmeal. It's crunchy and nourishing. Tempeh has 20 grams of protein per 100 grams. It's made from fermented soybeans. Compared to tofu, tempeh has more protein and is easier to digest. I wasn't keen on tempeh until I tried a slice pan-fried with a little apple cider vinegar. It's rich, mildly nutty, and not heavy on the stomach. A doctor I know in New York often recommends tempeh to older patients to boost protein and gut health. Spirulina, the blue-green algae, often called a superfood, packs 29 grams of protein per 100 grams. But its real star is phycocyanin, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound. I met an older man named Samuel, 76, with mild arthritis. He stirred a teaspoon of spirulina into his morning smoothie. 3 months later, he told me, "I'm not saying it cured me, but walking feels lighter, and I'm so grateful." Hemp seeds come in at about 35 grams of protein per 100 grams, plus omega-3 and 6, great for joint health. I remember Grace, 80, from California, telling me she used to avoid seeds, worried they'd be hard to digest, but when she tried hemp seeds, she was surprised how soft and easy they were to eat, sprinkled over porridge or salads. A doctor I know in New York often recommends tempeh to older patients to boost protein and gut health. Seitan has 39 grams of protein per 100 grams. It's wheat protein, often called vegan meat, with a firm, chewy texture, easy to sauté, grill, or pan-fry. One elderly gentleman told me, laughing, eating seitan feels like eating steak, but without feeling stuffed or heavy. Of course, if you're gluten sensitive, it's best avoided. Parmesan cheese with 42 grams of protein per 100 grams is aged long enough that its proteins break down partly, making them easier to absorb. Ruth, 95, told me she loves grating a little Parmesan over veggie soup. She said, "It's not just tasty, it makes me feel like I'm enjoying my meal in style, and it lifts my mood." Finally, there's dried fish powder, packing a whopping 63 grams of protein per 100 grams, a true protein powerhouse. It's rich in leucine, an amino acid critical for muscle building. My friend Jack, 82, started stirring half a teaspoon into his morning porridge. A few weeks later, he messaged me, "I feel steadier on my feet. I never thought something so small could make such a big difference." You see, protein isn't only in the usual suspects. There's a whole world of small, easy to find, easy to enjoy foods that can transform how you feel every day. And when your body is nourished the right way, every step, every movement becomes easier, lighter, and more joyful.
Clara, 68 years old, living in Florida, used to believe her breakfast was perfect. 2 eggs, a slice of bread, and a glass of milk. She told me, "For 10 years, I ate like that every morning. But strangely, I still felt my legs weakening. Climbing stairs left me breathless,
and just walking around the park meant I had to lie down the rest of the day. When her doctor suggested adding plant-based protein, she didn't believe it at first, but her daughter, a nurse, encouraged her. "Mom, just try adding a little quinoa and walnuts to your breakfast." Clara started small, mixing a bit of quinoa into her salad, sprinkling some walnuts on her yogurt. 2 months later, she told me excitedly, "I didn't turn into an athlete, but at least I can walk around my neighborhood without feeling drained, and my legs don't shake as much." She laughed and added, "And you know, I actually feel happy because I'm taking care of my health on my own, not just relying on medicine." Roger, 82, from California, has been a lifelong vegetarian for over 40 years. He admitted, "I thought I was doing everything right, eating vegetables, tofu, drinking soy milk. But last year, I started noticing I was losing strength in my arms and legs. Even carrying a small plant pot made me shaky." One day, his granddaughter, a nutrition student, visited him and brought him a pack of tempeh and a pouch of spirulina. Roger was skeptical, but he gave it a try. He sliced the tempeh, pan-fried it lightly with soy sauce, and added spirulina to his morning smoothie. 3 months later, he called me, his voice bursting with excitement. "You won't believe it. I spent the whole morning gardening without getting tired. I even climbed a ladder to fix the outdoor light. I think it's mostly thanks to the tempeh and spirulina." Then he laughed out loud. "Who says old means weak? Getting older just means you have to eat smarter." Michael, 74, from Texas, never cared much about changing his breakfast. He once told me, "Just eggs, toast, and coffee. Done." But last year, after a hospital visit following a fall due to weak legs, his doctor urged him to rethink his nutrition. His son suggested swapping breakfast for non-fat Greek yogurt topped with hemp seeds and some berries. At first, Michael scoffed, calling it women's food, but eventually he gave it a shot. 2 months later, when I saw him again, I almost didn't recognize him. His skin looked brighter, his walk was steadier, and his voice was more vibrant. He told me, "Honestly, at first, I thought it was all hype, but now I really see the difference. My lips aren't dry anymore, my nails are stronger, my hair's falling out less, I sleep better, and I don't wake up with stiff shoulders anymore." 3 stories, 3 lives, but the same lesson. They all started with small changes. No one gave up everything they loved. No one had to spend a fortune on fancy supplements. They simply added protein-rich, age-appropriate foods to their daily meals. And most importantly, they felt they were taking back control over their health, no longer afraid when they looked in the mirror or stood up from a chair. I remember Roger once said something I really love. "Eating is something we do every day. If we don't do it right, who's going to fix it for us?" These changes aren't just about nutrition. They're about confidence, spirit, and happiness. Because health isn't just about living long, it's about living joyfully, independently, without needing someone to help you up every stair. And I truly believe that's the greatest success we can have in old age.
A good morning doesn't need to be fancy. You can start right at your little kitchen table. I suggest you try a bowl of non-fat Greek yogurt, add a spoonful of cooked quinoa from the night before, and a few fresh strawberries or blueberries. It's cool, easy to eat, and helps you kickstart the day with about 15 to 20 grams of gentle protein, plus probiotics for your gut. If you're not a fan of the light, sour taste of Greek yogurt, you can mix in a bit of honey, but go easy. Just a small spoon to avoid unnecessary blood sugar spikes. By lunchtime, instead of a heavy rice meal, try a serving of lightly stir-fried tempeh with green vegetables, mushrooms, carrots, and a bit of fresh ginger for warmth. Tempeh is easy to cook. Just slice it thin, pan-sear it with a bit of olive oil and a pinch of salt and pepper, then toss in the veggies. This isn't just a filling dish, it's a meal packed with nearly 30 grams of protein, high in fiber, supporting digestion, reducing inflammation, and helping your joints feel less stiff. For dinner, you can prepare a light soup with dried fish powder. Many people are put off by the name, but dried fish powder is simply dried powdered fish, often found at Asian grocery stores, rich in protein and leucine, an amino acid key to preventing muscle loss in older adults. Just a small spoon stirred into vegetable soup, no extra salt needed, already brings a rich, nutritious flavor. If you're not into soup, you can sprinkle it over porridge or mix it into your evening salad. Alongside eating, remember to drink enough water. This is something many older adults forget. A body low on water tires more easily, reduces endurance, and makes your joints less smooth. Try to drink at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, spaced out. No need to gulp a whole glass at once. Some people like to add a slice of lemon or a few mint leaves to their water to make it more enjoyable, and that's a great idea too. Beyond eating, add small movements to your daily routine. No one is asking you to run a marathon. Just walking around the house, around the yard, or simply getting up and moving a bit after every hour of watching TV can help. If you want to try more, you can buy a resistance band. Use it to lightly work your arms and legs. Just 10 minutes a day is enough to remind your muscles to stay active and not be forgotten. Lastly, and just as important, start writing a small nutrition journal. You don't need to write long stories, just jot down what you ate today, how you felt, whether you were tired, sleepy, bloated, or had any aches. This not only helps you spot foods that don't suit you, but becomes a valuable record if you ever need to consult a doctor or nutritionist. I know an old gentleman named Frank, 76, who once told me that thanks to keeping notes, he realized he always felt bloated after eating seitan. He brought his journal to his doctor, made timely adjustments, and avoided mysterious stomach pains that had troubled him before. The journey of caring for your health in old age isn't a one-day thing. It's a series of small, repeated choices: a light soup in the evening, a warm glass of water after waking up, a few minutes walking around the yard, a short note about how you felt that day. These small things, when added up, can help keep your legs steady, your body strong, and most importantly, your life independent, happy, and free. No one else, only you, are the one drawing your own health map, meal by meal, step by step, page by page. And I believe you are absolutely capable of doing it.
You know, there's one thing I really want you to remember after everything we've walked through together. You are not weak for asking questions. You are strong because you care about yourself. So many older adults I've met have shared that they hesitate to ask, hesitate to learn, because they're afraid people will see them as bothersome, afraid they'll be told, "You're old, why bother now?" But the truth is, it's that very curiosity, that desire to understand your body and live better each day that makes you healthy, not just in your body, but in your spirit. I once sat with Ellen, a 72-year-old woman in Texas. She told me, "I always thought asking the doctor too many questions was a bother. But that one time I asked just one question, I finally solved the tiredness from iron deficiency I'd had for a whole year." One little question, but it changed how she felt every day. From feeling exhausted and short of breath, she went back to walking in the park in the mornings, knitting gifts for her grandkids, even joining a slow dance class at the senior center. When I asked her, "What makes you happiest now?" she smiled and said, "Because I feel like I'm still in charge." I want to tell you this, sincerely and clearly. If you care about your health, if you've ever thought, "I want to stay strong, I want to see my grandkids grow, I want to avoid becoming a burden," then you are already courageous. Not everyone is willing to face aging, face the changes in their body, and look for ways to improve. And I also want to invite you to be part of a community, people just like you. People who aren't perfect, who aren't young, who aren't chasing anything flashy, but who genuinely want to live happily, healthily, and meaningfully. If you're watching this, I invite you to leave a single word in the comments. Yes. Just that one word to tell yourself, "I choose to care for my health." And if you found this message helpful, please hit subscribe. Not to increase numbers, but so you can keep getting little reminders, simple suggestions, and real-life stories from me and from others like you. This community doesn't need anyone perfect. We just need people who truly want to take one small step forward at a time. I know Michael, 78, who subscribed just to remind himself to drink water every morning. Clara says she sets an alert when there's a new video, using it as a reason to get up and move a little at home. Some people told me they send these videos to friends, then challenge each other to try one new healthy dish each week. Little things like that, but they bring real joy. They create the feeling, I'm not alone. If you've ever been afraid of losing strength, of losing independence, remember, no one says you have to face that alone. You can ask, you can learn, you can try small steps, and you can share with others on the same journey. Together, we live responsibly for ourselves, we live joyfully, we live meaningfully. No one grows older without value, and that includes you. Leave a yes in the comments if you agree. Subscribe if you want to keep walking this road with us. And if you know someone, a friend, a loved one who needs to hear this today, send this message to them. Sometimes, one shared sentence, one click, one word of encouragement can be the turning point in someone's life. Thank you for spending this time here. Thank you for listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. And I hope that from today, you will see yourself not as weak, not as alone, not as someone giving up, but as someone strong, someone choosing to care, someone opening a beautiful new chapter no matter what age you are. You deserve that.